Joining me now is Craig Wentworth, Principal Analyst at MWD Advisors. Craig, welcome. Great to have you here.
Thank you very much.
I know you've been speaking very recently about blockchain in the supply chain.
Yeah.
What are the issues and opportunities there?
There's a few variants really. There's some that are kind of quite generalistic around a number of areas, and the supply chain is one instance around financial payments and around provisioning of end-to-end insurance without kind of intermediaries and that kind of thing. But I think the one that really takes hold in supply chain instances is around traceability of goods and asset provenance and that kind of thing, so that it can really help you within a supply chain ecosystem establish where the origin of goods are, the components in your products. You can track how well they're treated across the supply chain if you integrate with IoT sensors and so on. And you can do this on a platform that everybody, all your partners in the supply chain have access to, and is an irrefutable record of what's going on. So if there's any recourse for dispute afterwards, you know exactly what happened where and where it came from.
And I guess this crosses over with a few other hot areas. So with Internet of Things, you've got everything is tagged and it can be intelligent. You've got machine learning and analytics to think about the trends and moves. Yeah. Do you study it all together?
Yeah, I think you can get value from these things in isolation, but I think you really get the most value when they come together and they're integrated as a combination of platforms. So, sure, you can do some of the traceability stuff with an IoT platform on its own, but it tends to be then owned by a single entity in the supply chain. If you integrate it with the blockchain, then everybody involved can see the same irrefutable record. So it's much more powerful that way. And then if you're layering in things like predictive analytics and AI and machine learning on top, what you're doing is you're using data that you can really trust to feed into the system at that analytics layer, at that AI layer, and give you kind of a learning system where you can model how the whole supply chain ecosystem is running. You can affect tweaks to that. You can have autonomous applications that can monitor key variables like cost and delivery time and so on, and help you fine-tune that system using that trusted data that you're getting through from the endpoints. And
the benefits for this, I guess it's not just to businesses having a leaner, more efficient supply chain, it's provenance of goods and it's when you think something's from one supplier and actually it's from another, all kinds of things. What am I missing?
Well, the provenance one is a really big main one. So you can be assured of the origin of goods. So you can eradicate like conflict minerals from your supply chain and so on. And it's very important in the US to report on where your supply chain is getting its materials from. And in kind of food safety issues, you can trace back where products came from, where food products came from, and so in the event of any kind of outbreak, food poisoning outbreak, you can know exactly what came from where, what farms, and so on. You can trace that back and do it very quickly and do it very transparently and openly. So it's very quick to get highly granular information, much better quality decision making around recalls and product safety and food safety and stuff like that at a much lower cost.
In your kind of space, what's overhyped?
Blockchain.
And yet.
And I think it's partly because we're still very much at the kind of proof of concept stage at the moment. There's a lot of people having a go at seeing where blockchain fits in with their business. There's not an awful lot that's yet moved into full production. What a lot of the vendors are doing is they're making it easier for that to happen. So they're wrapping your typical enterprise IT stuff around the blockchain technologies to make it easier to make that move. But at the moment, there's a lot of stuff that's still proving concept. There's a lot of business cases being made. And I think that adds to that kind of hype because there's a lot of misunderstanding, there's a lot of unsurety about what blockchain is. I was having conversations with people last night. I think we're possibly in the blockchain world now, maybe where we were in AI 5 years ago. Okay. So at that point, people thought AI meant robots in the sky and all the rest of it, but now that's kind of percolated down to much more definable, understandable, bounded areas like robotic process automation, like chatbots, like assisting metadata, automated metadata scraping, that kind of thing. So those in themselves are much easier to define what the value is to a company that wants to put that into place. You can compare vendor offerings a lot better because it's something that's It's much more recognizable. We're not there with blockchain yet. People are using the same blockchain term to describe a whole lot of other, lot of use case possibilities. And while we're in that kind of fog, that kind of Wild West situation, you've got a lot of scope for hype and misunderstanding, I think, yeah.
Okay, Craig, it's fascinating stuff. Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.